Welcome to Strange Occurrences, abnormal tales with a Gen X twist. I'm your host, Rose Stone, also known as Ms. Reish Life on all the socials, where you can also find simply luxurious lifestyle on a budget. But what I'm here to talk about today is the strange occurrence of a particular Mandela effect that I know is not real, but I hold this collective false, and that is of the movie Shazam starring Sinbad. Disclaimer, I 100% know that this movie does not exist and it never existed, but I have to talk about this phenomenon as one of the people who holds this false memory to find out where it came from. So if you are one of these people too, or you're not, tune in and find out what is going on. This strange occurrence goes back to a time in the 90s where us Gen Xers were young adults, older teenagers, and getting to Blockbuster on our own to pick out our own movies. Now, apparently, the movie Shazam with Sinbad, and this is according to everywhere that I have found on the internet, this is a false memory that many people claim to have. There is no evidence that such a movie ever existed or that Sinbad ever played a genie in a movie called Shazam. Sinbad himself has denied making a movie on Twitter, and this movie is likely confused with another movie, Kazaam, starring Shaquille O'Neal as a genie. So this is so strange because I really thought that I remembered this. Now, who knows, maybe, like I said, with all the conspiracy theories out there of jumping timelines and XYZ, here we are with some of us having a memory of a movie that existed in a world that no longer exists. So I am looking on Distractify.com. Now, the weird thing is, there's a photo of the movie that I believe I remember, but it doesn't exist. And there is Sinbad with a genie outfit on and some lasers coming out of his fingers. So somewhere, I mean, is this CGI? Like, what happened? How is this possible that this picture could exist when no such movie exists? So this is in the wake the new DCEU film, the sequel to Shazam, Shazam Fury of the Gods. Kids of the 90s are furious that Sinbad isn't in it. But why would Sinbad be in a DC extended universe film? Well, in our real extended universe, many of us remember a flick from the 1990s called Shazam that starred Sinbad as a wish-granting genie. About 10 years ago, also millennials. So this is not just a Gen X thing. This actually makes me feel a lot better, everyone. So about 10 years ago, millennials all over the internet claimed that this version of Shazam existed. Still, we never found proof. Eventually, it was decided that a 90s Shazam had to be an example of the Mandela effect at work. More recently, we all hoped that Shazam 2 would finally give us a Sinbad genie blockbuster rather than the continued story of an unrelated 2019 superhero film. But does Sinbad's Shazam exist? And it says, we hope it does. It's so very strange. So this Mandela effect is causing many, many of us, not just Gen Xers, but also millennials, to believe that it existed, and it doesn't. So it's this article. For some reason, hundreds, if not thousands or millions of young people remember a movie called Shazam from the 90s, but no one has been able to prove its existence. So this is so crazy. And they're talking now in the article about Dane Bears and the Monopoly monocle. So these are the things that I talked about on my last live on TikTok. And I wanted to go deeper into this whole Shazam thing because I swear I remember it and it's so weird. Now, also, I just want to let you know that the article that I am reading in Distractify was written by Jamie Lerner and published March 20th, 2023 at 3:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's just so strange because, I'm trying to think how it could be possible to confuse Shaquille O'Neal and Sinbad. I mean, they're both S's, they're both men, but they don't look alike. But anyway, it's an interesting Mandela effect. There's actually a tweet or an X at Sinbad from Sinbad, solved the Sinbad genie mystery. I hosted an afternoon of Sinbad movies, 94 Sinbad the Sailor movies. And maybe in one of them, there was a skit about this, and we believe that this was a genie because he did play a character with a genie-ish wardrobe on Nickelodeon's That, and him wearing some genie clothes in the Sinbad Sailor special. So what we think is a movie could very well have been a skit from this. He was just so good as, in this genie thing that we thought it. And he also goes on to tweet or X, okay, for all you people that think I did a genie movie, well, I haven't done one yet. So I'm going to do one so we can close this chapter. Please do this, Sinbad. Please do this for all of us Gen Xers and that are losing our minds over believing this movie was there. I am so enthralled with just the overall effect in and of itself, because I encourage free thinking to anyone who listens to this. So, with me, disagree with me, call me crazy. I don't really care. It's all good, because I sit and I think about these things over and over again. And I really believe that timelines do jump and things no longer exist. And maybe some of us do hold these memories, but Sinbad does not hold this memory. I really hope that he does make a genie movie. So this now in, oh, wow. So this is a YouTube short, if you want to, this Distractify article, and it says Shazam is real. And this is the scene that I remember, the two kids coming into the attic, or the girl joins the boy, and they're looking through a box, and they've got a Rubik's Cube, and there's just tons of boxes. There's a curious, like he has a interesting in this clip. They're talking. There's a basketball behind them. There's a pumpkin from Halloween and what looks like a map. And now there's Fruit Loops commercial for a second. And then on the floor because one of them sneezed. And here is a genie bottle. Now I see a Berenstain Bears book that's upside down and a Monopoly game and the Daily News, but you can't quite see what's in it. It's something about Nelson Mandela. This is very strange. So now they have touched this genie and it's glowing, and now all these gold things and paper and everything are coming at them, and they're screaming, and up out of this bottle comes a genie, and he turns, and it's Sinbad, and he's smiling. So this is what I'm looking at, and they're yelling, and it's really, really interesting that this is what's happening right now. And now they're trying to run out of the room, and he moves them, and they're screaming, and then he pops up out of a box, and they're screaming. So obviously was a skit of some point, and it's really, really interesting that I'm watching what I remember. So maybe this was just a longer skit and we thought it was a full movie. Now the lasers are coming out, and he turned something into an instrument. Really, really interesting here, you guys. I don't know what to make of it, but this is a 2 minute and 31-second clip from YouTube that is on this Distractify article. So this was obviously a clip, and now there is a Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego commercial or cartoon clip after it. So it is some sort of a Mandela effect. It is some sort of a skit, I assume, that many of us thought was a movie, but it's not a movie. The movie did not exist. But I truly do hope that Sinbad goes and makes a movie that looks something like that skit, so all of us Gen Xers and Millennials can just take a breath of relief, like a sigh, like a collective Mandela effect sigh of relief, and get the movie that we wanted. Because I'll tell you, that was a really good and interesting clip. Great acting. Very strange for this Mandela effect. I was a little bit nervous to talk about this because it's just, it's interesting, and it's kind of creepy, and many of us now. This is also from scream.com, and this was written by Adam Bentz, and this was published August 14th, 2021. And the title says, Sinbad's kids shut down long-lost Shazam genie movie theory. So Sinbad's kids are shutting down theories of a long-lost Shazam genie movie. Sinbad appeared in various comedies throughout the 1990s, such as Coneheads, Jingle All the Way, and Good Burger, all awesome movies. People collectively misremember that he also was a bumbling genie in a movie called Shazam. Some people even claim to have seen the film and remember a plot in which two kids accidentally summon a genie to help them through a tragic time. Some even remember certain scenes involving a broken doll and a pool party. Despite what many people believe, this Shazam movie simply does. However, Sinbad did host Sinbad the Sailor movie marathon in 1994, in which he dressed up as a genie, so this is what we obviously remember. In addition, Shaquille O'Neal starred as a genie in the 1996 movie Kazaam, which may attribute to the collective confusion. Okay, good enough, I guess. In the film, a 5th century-old genie appears from a magic boombox and grants a teenage boy 3 wishes, though some ardent believers think that Kazaam was a ripoff or remake of Sinbad's Shazam. I want to hear from those people out there. So, Sinbad's order are here to set things straight. Talking to NCLX, Paige Bryan and Atkins. So Paige Bryan says her father's Shazam simply did not happen, but they both have known people who think it did, including even people the closest to us who know everything about our family. Atkins says, our dad has been mistaken for Shaquille O'Neal more times than makes logical sense. So this begs the question, how many people can share the same false memory about a Shazam movie starring Sinbad? And the answer lies in the phenomenon, as we have said, called the Mandela effect. The concept is named after the common misconception that the former South African president and civil rights leader Nelson Mandela died in prison during the 1990s, when in reality he died in 2013. But many of us Gen Xers remember him in the late 80s dying. It's really weird. So, there's a lot of these out there over them on my TikTok live, but this is just an odd occurrence that exists for many of us, but it didn't happen. This was from his skits. And I bet we thought his skit from this pirate show, Sinbad's pirate show, where he did dress like a genie, was something that just, existed as a movie. It didn't. So maybe many of us who thought that we're just putting that whole 1994 show together in our heads and we created a movie. It's very interesting what the Mandela effect will do. There's other ones out there that I can truly say I remember for a fact, but looking at all of the facts of Sinbad and the Shazam movie and the denial, obviously from him and his kids, and realizing that he did this show where he did dress like a genie, real interesting. So you can check out those articles and let me know what you think in the comments, you guys. I will be back and see you on the next episode of Strange Occurrences. Love, peace, and hair grease.